Welcome back to Mega Man X8. Cleanup is done, which means it's time for the finale.
There's no doubt in my mind now. This whole incident has Sigma written all over it.
It usually does.
Where is he anyway?
It's obvious that Sigma's involved.
We all
but
figured
things are
that out
bound to be
earlier.
different this time. It doesn't seem as if he's controlling these new Mavericks like puppets.
They just really
They all
like
seem
him.
to be him.
Okay.
Do you mean copies of Sigma?
What?
I'm not sure. So far, all the sites attacked have been related to the Jacob project. Huh? I'm picking up a transmission.
Oh, who is it? Let's see, it's, Oh, it's Sigma, darn it. Hate that guy. He's so mad.
Sigma!
Long time no see, X.
You just don't know when to quit, do you?
I really don't, X.
It'll all be over soon and we'll never have to meet again. All the primitive space development of your world now belongs to me.
Even if your tech is primitive, we're still stealing it. It's good enough and we don't want to make our own, but it would be better if we did.
Your old world has outlived its usefulness.
Maverick scum! What's your scheme this time?
We like the moon, X.
This is Providence. I'm merely ushering evolution.
Oh no, he's saying evolution. He's become one of those anime villains. He's just gonna say evolution repeatedly like it means something in this context.
Project all along?
If you stop to think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Space development and the emergence of new generation Reploids aren't unrelated.
So, he's causing these new generation Reploids to go Maverick, huh? We can't let him get away with this.
Sigma's transmission was disrupted by the orbit of the satellite. This is lucky. The elevator is still functional, so we can use it to get to him.
Alright, I'm sure he'll be fine with us just using that elevator. Alright, so here we go. We go to Jacob. The elevator, not a person.
Got this one!
So, my suggestion is you absolutely want to bring Zero. I mean, I guess he's okay for gameplay, but trust me, you're gonna want to keep him around. Absolutely, do not leave Zero behind. Alright, so, as a quick note, the other voice that Dave Petit does is, of course, Sigma, which means, yes, once again, that is Gregory, of Gregory Horror Show. So, while we are on this elevator stage, which of course is straightforward, you ride an elevator, you fight enemies, sometimes the elevator stops to let guys in, it's not all bees. Unfortunately, it would be very easy if it were just bees. Anyway though, elevator stage aside, today I actually wanted to talk about something that I just haven't had the chance to so far, but I feel definitely deserves a mention. There's actually a Mega Man X8 remake out there that came out, like, pretty recently. I'm pretty sure it came out early 2024, so, like, you know, obviously not right before I started LPing this game, but weirdly close, at least. It is by Alison de Paz. It is on the Sonic Fan Games HQ site. I will link to it in the thread, and I will not forget about it. I hope to not prove myself wrong. But anyway, though, yeah, came out relatively recently, and seems to be pretty solid. It is, of course, a demake, so, you know, it's 16-bit style, so it plays like the SNES X games, and it very specifically does not have Zero, Axel, or the Navigators, it's just X. It really is just trying to be, hey, what if X8, but kind of like the classics. Which, I can respect that, even though that's not the direction I would have wanted to take the X8 LP overall. I really don't think I would have considered doing that game instead of doing this, because I've liked the trajectory of the X series so far, and I want to stick with that. I might do like a stream of it in the future at some point or something, but yeah, no, it's For me, it's not a replacement, and it's not really intended to be either. I think I touched upon this in the X5 LP when I was discussing the hack for that one, but I don't think cynically made projects are ever particularly good. I mean, look, some art can be done out of spite, but video games are a particularly hard one to do. So labors of love will, just about always win out. I'm not gonna blanket statement and say all of them forever, because I guess I could be wrong. But, yeah, no, in the description, they do just straight up say, like, no, yeah, I love X8, it's one of my favorites. I'm not doing this because I think the game needs to be fixed. I just wanted to do an SNES-style one, which I respect that completely. That's cool. I dig that mentality. Honestly, that's the same reason I should never be trusted with anything related to X6. Because I don't like that game, and so I would not do improving it justice, because even the hacked version I played was not enough to make me enjoy that experience. God, I enjoyed X7 more than X6, if that tells you anything. Both hacked, but still. It's X7. You would think if anything would just be the low point, it would have been that one, but no. It was X6 for me. But yeah, no, absolutely pretty cool. I've heard good things about it. Definitely looks pretty solid. It looks good. The first time I said looks good, I meant gameplay. The second time, I meant graphically it looks good. I think it's more or less a solo dev job, Like with many things, it's probably the case that some people were here and there to help out, and I'm sure plenty of people tested, but yeah, mostly the work of one person. And it is very impressive for that alone, but again, I hear it's pretty good. I do want to give it a shot at some point, though, but again, not a replacement. I thought it was cool, though, and I would definitely feel that's something we're missing if I didn't at least mention it in this LP. Anyway, Layer's talking now, and since she's the boss character, or the character who talks about the bosses, mostly, she's not Palette, so we know the boss is coming up. And whoever could it be, all the way up at the top of the elevator.
Warning! Warning!
There he is. Shiny as always. What do you want, Vile?
Don't you ever get tired of the whole justice thing?
Don't you ever get tired of being Sigma's lapdog?
Get his ass! Get his ass, Zero!
The energy.
I love that so much. Zero's just so done with Vile. Vile hasn't even been in the series that much. Like, he was in X1 and X3, and that's it. He hasn't been back until now. Zero still does not like him whatsoever. We're past the point where Zero needs to blow up to kill him, though. So he's just going to sass Vile. Anyway, this fight's actually really damn hard. Be very careful with ice. It does drop him, but it's kind of hard to hit him with Zero's actual version of this weapon. Zero's not ideal for this one, and oh god, his desperation attack is obnoxious. So yes, he basically just has a big ol' wheel of electricity. The bolts will disappear from time to time. That one I dodged like 2 before, though, is really tricky. Like, most of these are timed out where they'll disappear, goddammit, once and then disappear one more time when they're a little closer to the wall. But there is one in particular that simply does not. Like, it is timed, so it only disappears the one time, and if you don't dodge it early, then you just get hit when it goes to the wall. And be warned, Vile can absolutely do his desperation attack more than once. I think this was a take where I managed to not have to do that again. But god, is it annoying that that is something he will absolutely do. Couldn't quite finish him with a double attack, but I don't care. I just needed to do damage, and I could not wait around for it. His desperation attack isn't like the worst to dodge, it just takes so long. And paired with everything else, it's just tiring to have to deal with. Of course, there's no special items in there, so Jacob's elevator is now officially our backyard. Alright, well then, let's see if there's anything I can develop. I don't think there is. Actually, there is a life up 2 I've yet to get. So you know what, let's do that. Let's give X that last life up. He will need it, because we're going to be taking him into the next area. Alright, looking pretty good. And by pretty good, I mean I just don't have the metal for anything else. Though I can fill my life tank if I want to. It's actually pretty cheap. The life tanks are actually pretty handy like that. The main issue is just, it's hard to find them because they're in a relatively tough level, and you have to do well in that level to get them. So you definitely can't get them from the word go unless you're really good at that Optic Sunflower stage.
Just like old times.
Zero? Does it remind you of the virus?
Do you want to talk about your feelings?
You heard about that? He tried to use me to destroy the world.
Fucked up, right?
That's why I've got to find him and turn him into a pile of molten scrap.
I will dump him into an incinerator myself.
Find that maverick before he fulfills his plan.
Alright, so, next stage, Gateway. Sigma detected. Sigma detected, Sigma met.
Got this one!
Anyway, Zero wants to personally turn Sigma to scrap, so let's give him the satisfaction. And let's also change to the Icarus armor, because I prefer this one. And you know what? Lair is pretty insistent on joining Zero. She wants to watch while he kills Sigma. She thinks that'll give her a chance, but no, sorry. Sorry, you are not taking X's boyfriend away, Lair. It's simply not happening.
There's definitely something evil in here. It must be Sigma. Everybody be careful.
So, really cool thing. We are just going to enter this room and find ourselves in... That's right, that's a boss door, because this is the boss refight room. So, all of the bosses are actually color coordinated. They each have their own specific color assigned to them. You want to remember these colors, they're actually going to be important for later. But for the time being, it's actually pretty easy to figure out who goes where, based on their color. A few of them can be a little tricky to figure out, but for the most part, yeah, no, it's pretty obvious to know who goes where. Which also means it's pretty easy to gear up for the next fight. Unless you're me, and you are bad at remembering boss weaknesses off the top of your head. I'm sorry I don't have mnemonics for him. Anyway though, so, while we're here however, I'd like to point out all the biblical allegories. So, that's actually the thread name. X and the inexplicable biblical allegories, or whatever the specific name is, I'm paraphrasing here I think. But you might recall at the start of the game, we did see the text, Paradise Lost. Now that wasn't just there randomly, that's actually the subtitle of the game, which might be a little difficult to know just, you know, out of nowhere, because it's not like that appears on the box art. Would have been wild if it did, both because none of the other X games have subtitles, but also... buck wild that it would just be a biblical allegory. Hey, it's just, Paradise Lost. You know, that one book. You know, the poetry, Paradise Lost. Yeah, it's kinda like that, but it's about robots. Anyway, though, yes, Paradise Lost is an epic poem by John Milton, which is both about the fall of Lucifer and also the fall of humanity. To summarize it so you don't have to bother reading it, Lucifer and the rest of the fallen angels are in hell, and they're like, you know, fuck humanity. What if we punished God by really messing up their entire shit? And so Lucifer's like, okay, first off, I'm Satan now. That's me. That's who I am. I'm gonna do that. And so he marches up to the Garden of Eden, and then he's in the tree, and he's the serpent, and he's winking at the camera like, hey, remember the serpent from Bible? That was me all along. It was actually Satan, also Lucifer. If you're reading this in chronological order, you don't know the name Satan until now. Bible's tricky like that. So yeah, he does the whole Garden of Eden thing, gives him the apple, and then he goes back down. He's like, hell yeah, take that, humanity. We showed him what's what. Oh fuck, we're all snakes now. And then Satan and all the other fallen angels are snakes because of their sins. So yeah, no, that's Paradise Lost. That's all you need to know about it. In essence, really, all you need to know for Mega Man X specifically is, dang, wouldn't it be wild if somebody betrayed something else? I'm being very vague right now, but we're actually not entirely through the Bible allegories. Though, if you know name etymologies, I have absolutely just spoiled kind of a major thing about this game. If you know etymology, if you're a name nerd, don't tell your friends about it, because that'll just ruin the whole plot. Other than that, though, big ones. The really obvious one is Noah's Park, which is a reference to Noah's Ark. Which is, you know, a funny pun. Really doesn't have to do with anything. I guess maybe we can interpret the fall of Eurasia as a kind of flood. You'd be really hard-pressed to, but I guess you could if you really wanted to. It wasn't really a punishment, especially not by anybody who could be considered God. It would be more like if Satan caused the flood, which is really not one-to-one. So yeah, it's mostly just there as a name pun, it's just kind of funny. And also to make it, you know, kind of stick, right? Like, you just randomly see the words Paradise Lost, and you're like, why the fuck is John Milton here? What's he doing here in Mega Man X? So, I guess that's there to kind of remind you, okay, yeah, no. Bible is here. We're not going to remind you for most of the rest of the game. Most of these guys have nothing to do with Bible. Also, God, this guy sucks to hit with his weakness. Pretty much any version of it, I think, except maybe Axel's. But yeah, for the most part, it's not super applicable, up until we reach the Jacob Orbital Elevator, which is a reference to Jacob's Ladder, which, you know, is the story about the big staircase, from Earth to Heaven. Angels use it, until Satan comes in and messes up the whole Garden of Eden thing. Then it's like, nah, we can't have that there anymore. No, we're segregating Earth and the heavens. God damn it, dude. Come on, get hit already. Please talk shit so you can get hit. Thank you. But yeah, of course. That one is at least, I think, a little more sensical than Noah's Park, which, again, there really isn't a flood allegory in Mega Man X. The closest thing to it is really too far-flung to actually be a flood allegory. It's extremely loose, but, like, this one makes sense. It's the Jacob Orbital Elevator, so it is the thing that is connecting Earth to, in this case, the moon. But honestly, the way this game treats the moon, it does seem like a sort of heaven. Or at the very least, some kind of paradise. I mean, I don't really get it. At the very least, I don't know why the humans are so enamored with the moon in this case, because, like, it's really not good for living on. It's very small in comparison to Earth, and the resources are non-existent. I mean, I guess to be fair with the orbital elevator, they don't have to worry about the resources as much, they'll just deliver it from Earth, but still. But for the Reploids, it at least makes sense insofar as, like, the Reploids don't have to care about food and water nearly as much. They are not as resource-intensive, supposedly. I don't know, maybe they need oil or something, but regardless, it makes more sense for them to be on the moon. And they are so jazzed to be on the moon. They're all about that moon life. They're basically cottagecore except for the moon. Again, that is a more applicable thing if we are to view the moon as a more a stand-in for the heavens. Though in the Reploid's case, it is more of a separation from humans than God necessarily. Though I guess to be fair, humans are sort of gods to their Reploids. Thus the desire for separation from them. You know, if Reploids are the fallen angels, or really more specifically, the copy robots are really more the fallen angels, and I guess Reploids are just regular angels, then yeah, humans would be God, except they've only ever been on the moon once. So I don't know, heaven's not really their domain. Or, again, the moon. The moon is not their domain. Humans aren't really super good at the sky in general, honestly. We don't have sky cities either. But regardless. Please be weak to things, Avalanche Yeti. Avalanche Yeti, who is also voiced by the same guy who voices Sigma. What if Avalanche Yeti's a Sigma clone? Also, those snowflakes are more destroyable than I originally thought, which is kinda cool. Though it's also kind of annoying because Avalanche Yeti's weakness actually kind of gets distracted by them. Alright, so how far along are we? I was distracted by talking about Bible allegory. Okay, we've got, I think, 1 or 2 more left. That's more or less all I have to say about that for now, though. Again, there's a little more to it, but we will discuss that later. But for now, yeah, no, you should keep Paradise Lost in mind. You can kind of forget about the Jacob orbital elevator thing. That's fulfilled its purpose. We are in heaven now. We're doing the boss refights in the heavens. Also, I was correct. Zero's air slash, or no, his regular slash in general, is actually just Gigabolt Manowar's weakness. And you can't actually turn it off. Like, once Zero's saber turns orange, that's it. It's over for this hoe. You simply can't not do effective damage against him. Which, you know, is kinda nice. Considering his stage, I'm glad I can just chump him like this. Though he did just kind of float up annoyingly. Alright, this should be the last one then.
Go for it! Leave it to me!
There we go. Alright, so this must be Bamboo Pandemonium. I mean, I guess Pandemonium is, you know, in hell as well. So technically speaking, I guess Bamboo Pandemonium is also significant. I do not believe, however, that all of the Mavericks are some sort of allusion to things in Paradise Lost. I do not recall anything that could be an optic sunflower in Paradise Lost. It could also very well be complete coincidence. Actually, what is Bamboo Pandemonium's name in Japanese? Oh no, it seems to be, I think it's actually still Bamboo Pandemonium in Japanese. So yeah, no matter what, I guess... Would it be weirder for it to be accidental or on purpose that is the one Maverick who has some connection to Paradise Lost?
Please make it back okay?
Alright, so this place is exploding now, so let's get out of here. So yes, we are done with the boss refight, which is cool. I like being finished with that. Keep dashing or you will fall to your death. And was that a boss door before? I wasn't really paying attention. But now we're here in the starting room, which is very small. So who could be the boss here? Thanks for the medals, idiot.
I shall allow you to call me by that name, for I am indeed Sigma.
I mean, I'd say that's a really weird way to phrase that, except I'm gonna level with you. That phrase has just been stuck in my head since the day I heard it. Every once in a while, I do just think of him saying, I shall allow you to call me by that name, for I am indeed Sigma. Like, every time we fought Sigma in this series, that's been in my head.
I will usher in a new world to replace it.
Yeah, blah blah blah. I've heard it from several other anime villains, my dude. Alright, so here's Sigma. He's actually relatively easy, weirdly enough. He attacks quickly, and you do have to be careful from this attack? No, not quite. This is just micro missiles. It's his desperation that you need to worry about. Which he's already on his desperation attack. He lasers the ground, and now it's on fire, so you have to stick to the walls, making dodging, understandably, a lot more difficult. Honestly, yeah, pretty tricky to actually avoid him, but he really doesn't have that much HP, and I'm just going to leap into the flames to finish him off. Alright, so, with that, we move on to Sigma's second form. A normal guy? Huh. Well, that's not right. So, the boss refight is not in the final level. It's been ages since that happened. I think X2 was the last one where that happened, but yes. We're not done with the game just yet. We still have one stage to make it through. And that will be our final stage in Mega Man X8. Unfortunately, our latest backyard did explode, so it's kinda useless as a backyard. But there is one more location that shall fall under our jurisdiction, one more plot of land we need. And we will see what that plot of land is next time on Mega Man X8. Oh, cool. Why the hell not? I'll just go out with Weapon Up too, why not? We're moving to the final. We're going to need this stuff. So yeah, see you for the end of the game next time.